Welcome to part 3 of the L5R Emperor Edition video tutorial. If you watched the part 2 video, you'll know that I had to end the video a little abruptly due to the 15-minute limit on YouTube videos. We had just gone over what happens during the Dynasty phase of a player's turn, and I had mentioned that when paying for a personality with your clan alignment, there are 3 rulebook effects you are allowed to apply. Clan discount reads, if a personality has your clan alignment, at any time you bring him into play, you may pay 2 less gold for him to enter play. Clan allegiance reads, if a personality has your clan alignment, at any time you bring him into play, you may pay 2 more gold for him to enter play and ignore his honor requirement. Proclaim is a rulebook action which reads, reaction. After you bring a personality in your province with your clan alignment into play without clan discount, and it is your turn, gain honor equal to his base personal honor. End phase. In the end phase, you draw a fate card. If your hand size is above the maximum hand size, 8 cards by default, discard cards from your hand until you are at the maximum hand size. Your turn ends after your end phase. Let your opponent know it is his turn when you finish. Though there are 4 ways to win the game. The first is military victory. After a player's last province is destroyed, he immediately loses the game, probably the most common used victory condition. Dishonor victory. If a player's family honor ever becomes -20 or below, the player loses the game at the beginning of his next end phase, even if he or she returns to -19 honor or higher. Honor victory. You win if you ever start your turn on 40 family honor or higher. Enlightenment victory. You win if you start your turn controlling 5 rings with 5 different elemental keywords, typically air, earth, fire, water, and void, each of which last entered play by its own text. Deck construction. Each player has 2 decks, a Fate and Dynasty deck, which each contain at least 40 cards. Each player also has a Stronghold, 1 copy of Border Keep, and 1 copy of Bamboo Harvesters, though they may not play it every game. These 3 cards do not count towards the minimum card number of either deck and may not be included in either deck. All cards and decks must be Emperor Edition legal, marked by a green kanji in the lower left corner. Older prints of cards may be used, including Soul of cards, but are considered to have the same stats and text as their most recent print. If you use older cards, you are responsible for knowing any differences. One simple way to start deck construction is to pick a stronghold, pick a victory condition, and start picking Fate and Dynasty cards that progress your victory condition. Deck construction keywords. By default, you can have no more than 3 copies of a card in either deck. Soul of. Soul of cards are the equivalent to older cards for deck construction. For example, I may include Mochiza in an EE legal deck instead of Samuru. If there are differences in the text, the card uses the most recent print text. Unique. You may have no more than 1 copy of this card in your deck. You may not control more than 1 copy of a unique card at a time. Singular. You may have up to 3 copies of this card in your deck. You may not control more than 1 copy of a singular card at a time. Experienced. An experienced version of a card is treated as a different card than the other cards by the same name. For example, I can include and control 3 Korimis and 1 Korimi experienced. At this point, you've learned more than enough to start playing Legend of the 5 Rings with Emperor Edition rules. I have not covered every possible thing you will encounter in the game, and you may still find yourself asking questions during the course of the game. Luckily, every Emperor Edition starter deck comes with a pocket-sized copy of the L5R rulebook. Use it to help look up all the different rules of the game. You can also find a PDF of the rulebook at this link. I've included it in the description. Still have questions about how different cards work? In the Alderec forums at this link, there's a section called L5R Rules Questions, which is moderated by Alderec employees, so you know you are getting the best answers possible. There are a few advanced mechanics I have not explained which you may encounter on occasion. Keep watching and I'll explain a few more specific rules. Dueling. Some actions will mention duels. A duel is a game mechanic where 2 personalities face each other in a contest that has 3 steps: focus, strike, resolution. Duels center around players competing to achieve the highest duel stat. The duel stat is Chi by default, but may be changed depending on the action. For example, the duel stat in Duel of Haiku is personal honor. Let's look at each of the 3 steps in a duel. Focus. The challenged personality has the first opportunity to focus or strike. The challenger then gets to focus or strike. Players go back and forth until a player chooses strike. To focus, you either choose a card from your hand or take the top card of your fate deck without looking and put it face down in an area designated as your focus pool. Once a card is in your focus pool, you may look at it and any other cards there. You may not look at any cards in another player's focus pool. The point of focusing is to focus cards with high focus values or good focus effects. You'll see why soon. A player that has already focused 4 times must strike. Once a player strikes, the focus step immediately ends. Strike. Once a strike is called, turn all focus cards face up. Any traits on cards with a special trigger as a focus effect resolve. The active player chooses the order that focus effects resolve. Ignore any traits or actions of focus cards that aren't focus effects. If a personality involved in this duel has the duelist keyword, that personality's controller has the following ability. Before focus effects resolve, you may discard one of your focused cards and focus one additional card. If 2 duelists duel each other, the active player does his first. Resolution. Each player totals the focus value of his or her focus cards and adds the personality's duel stat to this total. The higher total wins the duel and the lower total loses. Duel actions will specify effects that are applied to the winner and losers of the duel. If the 2 totals are equal, the duel is a tie. Both players lose and take the loser's consequences. When facing a personality that is not a duelist wins ties. After all effects resolve, discard all focused cards and the duel ends. Ranged and melee attacks. The rulebook wording of a melee or ranged attack is Range Melee X. Target a follower or personality without followers in the current enemy army. If its force is equal to or lower than X, destroy it. The only difference between ranged and melee attacks are the cards that interact with them. For example, precision can modify both ranged and melee attacks, while sniping only works on ranged attacks. Despite the wordings, the actions may be announced and target nothing. Additional rules about tacticians. You may remember the rulebook tactician action, Tactical Battle. Any number of times per turn, discard a card and choose a performing tactician personality. Give him a force bonus equal to the focus value of the discarded card. In addition to this, only tacticians can perform tactical actions. Tacticians may only perform 1 tactical action per turn. You may remember that actions inherit all the keywords of the card they are printed on. Just remember, tactical actions and tactician actions are 2 different things. If an action on a tactician is tactical, the keyword is added to the ability, like on the card and to the left. That is all the slides I had prepared for this particular tutorial. They should give you a pretty comprehensive idea of what the game looks like. There are a couple of rules I didn't go over that are usually obscure and not even come into play that often. One of them was overlaying. The experience keyword, if you have an unexperienced version of a card, you can bring an experienced version in for free by removing the unexperienced one from the game. So you remove the unexperienced and you get the free experienced version. Another thing is in Seeds of Decay, they've recently come out with a whole bunch of keywords, but all of them have reminder text on the cards, so it shouldn't be a big deal. They won't be in the rule book, but they will be on the cards. They are also coming out with a lot of extra keywords for Ivory Edition. Those also have reminder text for the time being, as far as I can tell in the previews. And I'll probably update these videos for Ivory Edition when I have a better idea of what's going on in the rules there. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the game and have a good understanding of it now. Bye.